passion and pageantry of college football lives here. This is the Paul Finebaum Show, Hour 4 podcast.
This might be college football heaven.
Andrew is up next in Dallas. So, hello, Andrew.
Hey, Paul, I wanted to just qualify something you and Augie were talking about the other day, how we need to stop infantilizing these players. It's a job now. We picked up a guy off another SEC roster, and my sources are saying, quote, I think we heard various things over the summer that the guy wasn't even bothering to show up to the voluntary workouts, and he was literally sleeping in the athlete dining hall. So, you know, that guy I predict will probably be going pro in something other than sports. But because this is a fun show, Paul, and we like to have fun on this show, I want the record to state that you took this call blind. And I wanted to ask you one question, sir. Can I segue? Would that be okay, Paul, if I could segue?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I wanted to talk about a program from the Big Eight, okay? Talk a little business. And quite frankly, this is a program that has not been relevant and has been a complete embarrassment and a joke to SEC Nation since the days of Dan Devine. And I just want to say that Coach Drink, quite frankly, you are a joke. You need to wake up and smell the coffee and grow up. And over and out. Good night.
Well, that is a stunningly good imitation there. I just hope you're able to talk tonight after going that high. Handsome Joe is up next.
Roll Tide, roll, Paul Finebaum. Hey, that was a good John from St. Louis impersonation right there. I think he did better than AJ does with it. But Paul, first off, I want to say I heard what Aggie Gus said earlier. Not Augie, Aggie Gus said earlier, and I want to thank him for that. He don't have to apologize to me, Paul, and I want to thank you for your kind words. And Aggie Gus, man, I hope y'all have a good year this year. I hope A&M has an outstanding season, except for October the 24th, of course. But other than that, gig 'em, baby, gig 'em. But, Paul, it was good to see Spencer Hall back today, too. I love that interview you had with him, and I've missed him ever since the last time he was on here. And I like listening to him all the time, Paul. He's a good guy. I follow him on Twitter all the time. And I got to agree with everything y'all was saying about Bill Belichick, Paul. I don't even want to mention – this is the last time I'm going to mention Bill Belichick's name because I can't stand the dude, Paul. The dude had a great legacy going for him, thanks to Brady, of course. And he blew it. The dude blew it, Paul. And if he was a caller, I'd say he would probably be Swamp Dog. That would be him as a caller. And Lane Kiffin, Paul, I got to where I just can't – I can't stand the dude. I mean, I'll just say this about Lane. Lane Kiffin, you suck. I mean, you suck big time. And I'll just wish, he could just get lost on the desert. Not nothing bad happened to him, but just, be stranded on a deserted island. Not long, but maybe like 10 years or so, something like that. Just to, maybe he needs some time, about 10 years to think, get his thoughts combined together because him and that president at LSU too, Paul, I got to where I can't stand these people. And they want to act an ass. And I promise you, Paul, you'll be welcome in Louisiana. I guarantee you there's LSU fans that's probably getting tired of that crap themselves, Paul, because Lane Kiffin obviously ain't the big recruiter again. If he's having to try to get pro players, he obviously can't get these college players or high school players then. I mean, he's starting to doubt his own thing. And so he's just trying to stack the deck to where he can succeed, Paul. But who wouldn't want to do that? I'd like to get the whole, Dallas Cowboys to play for Alabama, but that ain't right. And there's something else I've been thinking about, Paul. Like, I know about all the colleges has named their starting quarterbacks now, but I just wonder if there's more, that they're actually battling for than just the starting position. And what I mean by that, like let's say the two quarterbacks at Alabama. If are they going to make the same NIL money this year, regardless of who's the starter? Because that's something they could have been battling for too, is money. I mean, because the starter you would think would make more money. So I mean, to me, it's a whether a higher paycheck or a lower paycheck. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe you'd know more about that than I would, because you know more about the financial stuff. And about anybody knows more about the financial stuff than I do. But Paul, glad I got to come in and meet you. I've been packing up. I should be completely moved out of here by the end of the weekend anyway. I'm actually moving, and been boxing up things and all that kind of crap. But, hey, it is what it is. But I'm fixing to leave. Well, as soon as the show's over, I'm going Piggly Wiggly and get me some popsicles, Paul. I like them pineapple bars, man. They're great, Paul. But, hey, right now, I could use a good popsicle right now. And popsicle and coffee, they go great together. But you have a good and peace. Roll Tide roll, brother.
Dylan is up next in Jasper.
Good afternoon, my Black Hat brother. Thanks for taking my call. Paul, I got a question. Y'all, with all this LSU stuff going on with trying to get NFL players to come back and everything like that, how much bigger of a story would this be if it was Alabama?
Well, I mean, Alabama and LSU are pretty similar in terms of appeal. I would say Alabama is more important, but Lane Kiffin right now really is the juice driving the story.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you, man. I really feel like this would be on world news if Alabama done this. By
the way, Dylan, it's not far from it right now. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere.
Well, you know how people's got the ADS syndrome, Alabama derangement syndrome, and everything. And but speaking of PDS, Paul derangement syndrome, your number one leg humper called in yesterday, Chris from South Carolina. He was really kissing that ass, wasn't he?
Dylan, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I really didn't listen to a word he said.
You can barely understand what he says.
Dylan, I mean, I'm not saying you sit here and you begin. But the second he started talking, I knew it was total BS, so I quit listening.
Yeah, my BS meter went off too. You know that was a good tip from the almighty Jim from Tuscaloosa, pretty much just telling him, hey, go on here, kiss his butt a little bit, and you'll be back in good terms, and then turn on you again. So that was a classic Jim from Tuscaloosa move right there. But anyway, Paul, the dirtiest player in the game's out of here.
We continue. Larry in Houston. Larry, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Paul.
Thank you.
So, Paul, I've heard a lot of your talk about what's going on with players coming back from the NFL to college, and I'm actually originally from Baton Rouge, so this impacts me. But I'm really over all of this going on. I feel like it's really pushing greed in the sport right now. I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about how all of the conferences realigned, and you have teams from the West Coast traveling to the Atlantic Coast and to the Midwest, and there's no tradition in college football anymore. I feel like they're taking away from the purity of the sport. What's your opinion on that?
I've lost faith in that aspect of it some time ago. It's getting worse, but it's still, once you start paying players and once you have unscrupulous agents peddling players from one school to the next, then the integrity of what you and I grew up watching and admiring is really gone. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. But, I mean, this is more unsavory than usual only because you've got someone who walked out of an NFL camp, and a week before the season you have all this insane litigation. But I don't think this compares really to what Lane Kiffin did a year ago, walking out on his team and then lying his way through the postseason.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's funny that he's not the center of what's going on with LSU trying to bring players back in from the NFL. So I totally understand that in regard to that.
Thank you very much. I mean, I think what's so interesting about this case is and I realize we're maybe getting a little bit ahead, but it's happening. This is an attempt to discredit the commissioner of the SEC for being given the power, by the way, to mete out penalties by the 16 presidents of the league, including the president at LSU. And I know the LSU spinmeisters today are all saying, yes, but the president abstained the next day from voting on the actual penalties. But to me, I would argue that the most important thing is he voted for giving the commissioner the power to deliver the penalties and enforce the rules. So how can he explain that? I mean, you can name Greg Sankey as a defendant in every case in America. You can go to the World Court if you want at The Hague. You can go on Court TV or the People's Court or Judge whatever. But the point is, I want the LSU president to come here tomorrow and explain to us why he voted for that. Because until that happens, I don't know where LSU is. I mean, we know about the governor. He attacked Sankey yesterday. We know about this attorney who's popping off to every microphone in the city of Baton Rouge. But let's hear from the chief executive officer of this university. And so far, he is hiding in the basement, afraid to speak, because we haven't heard a word from this guy. We'll take a short break. Back after this.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
We are back, and I'm just longing to hear from Long in South Carolina.
Good afternoon, Paul. Who knew Dylan was the evil Duck Dynasty stepsister? Boy, that was refreshing to see. Paul, I haven't called in about almost 2 weeks. I've been auditing your show, and I'd like to share my observations tomorrow. But today, I'd like to tell you about a book I'm reading.
Please.
It's called I Love Me Some Me. And it's about a gentleman who is a toy airplane pilot who gets a puppy and falls in love with a handsome gentleman from Alabama via a sports call-in show. Really intriguing stuff. But I had a question for you. Do you know why AJ never takes his car to the shop? Do you have any clue?
I've never thought about that before. Why not?
Due to the fact he's just really apprehensive that they might want to look underneath his hood. And finally, before I call back tomorrow, I'd like to do an impersonation of a sound, and I want you to see if you can guess what it is. I'll make it quick. You probably won't get it, so I'll do it. Sure. You ready?
Yeah. Don't know.
That's the sound of a hot air balloon when it passes by. Welcome back, legend.
AJ is up next.
Yeah, this is not long, but Long, what you need to do, brother, is you need to take 2 years off and do a good synopsis on the show. And you'd do us all a favor, because if you was a part of on a car, I promise you this, you'd be in the oil area. It could be called a dipstick. You need to get real. But, Paul, let me tell you something about this dirtiest chicken in the game over here. He's one of those arrogant Alabama fans, Dylan, and he's like, if it was Alabama, what would it would be headlined? It would be on CNN. No, y'all need to get over it. That big if has only got 2 letters in it, but he still couldn't even say or speak it. He'd be like, if. No, Alabama's irrelevant, Dylan, so you might as well get over it. There's a lot of ifs. It's if that Kelly DeBoer can make it through week 3 or 4, he might not have to get in that same U-Haul with Joe moving out of that house over there, because I'm going to tell you something, Joe, Ugly Joe from Green Bay. You know what? Your team sucks, and you always talk about suck. Your calls are like a Hoover vacuum cleaner. That all they do is suck. But I'm going to tell you this, too. Go get you some Piggly Wiggly over there. I bet you'll see something that you ain't never seen before. You'll see somebody that don't give a damn where you go eat, and it's me. And I'm going to tell you this, too, Joe. while you're doing your U-Haul moving, go ahead and load up Kalen DeBoer's couch and chair and his lounger over there, because that's all he's going to have left when they run his ass out of town by week 4. War Down Eagle Paul, I'm headed to Kiefer Sports kickoff party, and I'm going to do a Auburn pile drive on Big Dylan, so you ain't got to worry about him no more. Long War Down Eagle.
Bash is in the Zoom.
Yes, sir. You were right when you said it yesterday, Paul. These Auburn fans, they are extremely cocky. They got all the momentum they think coming into this season. But speaking of that, Paul, I want to apologize to Michael Bratton for plugging one of his quotes in yesterday, and you, Paul, you just took advantage of it, and you just verbally annihilated his current career status. So I'm going to repay the favor, and I'm going to ask you a question about one of your guests I haven't seen in a while. Paul, when was the last time you've had Brandon Marcello on the show? Because I haven't seen him since he stayed at Gus Malzahn's beach house in Florida and looked like a lobster face when he came on. What's going on with him lately?
He was on about a month ago at Media Days.
He was? I don't remember it because literally
Well, Babs, who do you think would remember better, the people that run the show behind the scenes or some guy who's traveling the country in a U-Haul?
That would be neither of us, Bash Brother, but I get the point. All I'm saying is that Brandon Marcello, for you to take a little shot at Michael Bratton yesterday, I mean, this guy, Paul, I know you said Billy Ray Cyrus has the worst interview in the Feinbaum show history, but a close second has to be that interview you did with Marcello a couple months ago when he lied to the whole world, Paul, when you asked him, was that not Gus Malzahn that just walked behind him? And what was his response? I can neither confirm nor deny this. And it's
Bash,
like...
let me in on you a secret that may help the rest of your life. That
what
was
is
a
this?
practical. That was a joke, a crack, a practical, funny, something like when you were a kid, one of your buddies does something. Did you ever do that when you were younger, or were you ever younger?
Well, of course I did, but then I grew up, and then I eventually got to the age where if someone asked me a question like when you asked me the other day to open my kitchen drawers, do you know what I did? I opened all of them and embarrassed the hell out of me. This man can't even answer a straight-up question from you. And all I wanted to say and remind you of that, Paul, is that I hope Brandon Marcello brings Gus Malzahn to Tuscaloosa week 3 for the rematch against Florida State. It's not going to feel the same, Paul, when we get revenge against the Seminoles.
I see what's going on here. You didn't like Gus Malzahn, and remember then Bruce Pearl made fun of it. I get it. I didn't understand all that.
Thank you. Look, this man, I hate him. I cannot stand him, but fact is fact. He has 5 wins, Paul, as a coordinator and a head coach all time against the Alabama Crimson Tide. All within the last 15 years. To me, this is the arch nemesis, the villain number 1 of Alabama football, and then behind him is Cam Newton.
Thank you, Bash. Great to talk to you again. Can't wait till tomorrow. Chris is up next in South Carolina.
Hey, Paul, y'all made it through the whole show without talking about Chris in South Carolina, without talking about Dabo, and without talking about Clemson. See, I've been coming on here making a great effort, trying to be a team player.
Hey, you know something, Chris? I actually had a friend of mine after all this Kiffin stuff. He texted me a few minutes ago and said, I hate Dabo Swinney, but I'm pulling for him against Lane Kiffin.
Man, Paul, the whole world is pulling for Dabo Swinney, Paul. Y'all want to make that man out to be a villain, and all he was doing was trying to stand on principles and protect the college football game, Paul. If we had more coaches like Dabo, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through. But I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going to make no promises. I ain't going to make no predicament. I ain't going to tell you what's going to happen. But one thing I do know, them boys down there in that Death Valley down there, they going to know that these real Tigers came down there. We're going to compete. We're going to hold our head high, and we're going to be proud. I'm going to be down there in my icy whites, laced out in the orange, right there in the middle of all them LSU fans. And y'all remember that chant y'all taught me last year in my backyard? I got one for you. I ain't gonna say it on air, but I'm definitely gonna be saying that chat, Paul, down there. Like I said, you got a great show. I'm a straight shooter. When you do good, when you are good, I tell you that you're good, Paul. It's not kissing butts. I tell you when your ear's too big. I tell you when your hair is messed up. I tell you when I don't like your outfit. It's about being a straight shooter. But it's very, 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 very amazing that you got certain callers that the only time they call in when they got something to say about me. They can't make another call. So I got something for you. I try to do it right, Paul. You just tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a fine bomb Friday. And I'm putting these callers in the fish pot. We having a fish fry. Have a nice day, Paul.
I miss that guy. Who's the guy that does the? Is that what's that guy's name that does the Feinbaum Friday deal? The guy. He's a Stim from Texas. Yeah, that is a funny bit. I have to give Stim credit for that. Quick break. 30 minutes remaining here. Busy Thursday afternoon.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
We are back. Let's continue. Expired.
Paul, that was the worst call I ever heard from Bash, and that says a lot. How can a 30-year-old dude that's a pothead say he's grown up? Tell me that, Paul. You can't tell me that, Paul. Bash, you haven't grown up. You're a big old baby. That's all you are. You're a pot-headed baby, and that's all you are. And furthermore, listen to Chris's crap. That made me sick. Those two calls together made me sick. I'm going to the bathroom. Giggle.
Coach Brown is up next. Hey Coach.
Hey, let me tell you something, Paul. Tomorrow night, my 16-year-old grandson plays his first high school football game, and Clemson. I promised him when you turn 16 years old, Papa Fernando's going to take you to LSU to a football game. My wife and I are graduates of Ole Miss. We're kind of caught in a predicament. And you talked about those dorm rooms down there at LSU yesterday in the stadium. My father was in one of those dorm rooms.
Really? Hey, Coach! But before you go, where is it? So where's the game tomorrow? I'd like to keep up with it.
Well, he plays Hernando. Football in DeSoto County, Mississippi. It's a 7A school. They won state softball championship, and they're usually competitive. Football is different critter around here. There's a lot of good football in North Mississippi.
I know Hernando. You know, I grew up in Memphis, so I would go through there occasionally, and I did
not know that.
Oh yes, sir.
We are not the little sleepy town we used to be.
No, well, it's been a while since but I used to drive back and forth after I moved to go see my mother when I moved to Alabama, and I think I've run into every small town in Mississippi.
You probably stopped at the Dip and had a ice cream.
I bet.
That used to be Elvis's place.
So for those who don't know, if Graceland is south of town, and if you keep going, you're going to run into Hernando if you drive far enough.
Yes, sir. You rode right by the Dip. It's a little ice cream joint's been there since back in the 50s. Elvis used to ride his Harley down 51 Highway south and eat ice cream there. Back in the day when you could do that.
Well, no, you listen. I mean, living in Memphis during that era, everywhere you went, somebody would say Elvis. I mean, there was just an endless stream of Elvis sightings. But that's fantastic. Well, so
look, I was embarrassed yesterday. I had to give it up. I mean, I did not. I'm an LSU fan. I love Ole Miss, but I'm an LSU fan. It was in me when I was at a young age, and my family's from down South Louisiana, and it was embarrassing yesterday to the program. For me, I had to just give it up because I got angry. None of this is right, but I want to tell you a little story. You probably know where Kosciuszko, Mississippi is.
Yes.
And the reason I'm telling you this is I'm excited to bring him to the Clemson game on Saturday night, LSU game. I'm so excited. But yesterday kind of put a damper on it, and I got to thinking, college game day, he's going to have such a wonderful time and everything. And back in the 70s, when I was a 10-year-old kid, there was a kid at Kosciuszko High School named his name was Wayne Jones. He played football at Mississippi State. A real good running back, really fast, really powerful, 200 pounds. And he went to Alabama for everybody in the South wanted him. He went to Alabama for an interview and sat down with his uncle and his mother and his dad across the desk from Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant lit a Winston cigarette and he said, "Son, we'd like to talk to you about playing football for us." And the progression of the conversation, Jones asked him, said, "Well, Coach, what am I going to get if I come to the University of Alabama?" and Coach Bryant said, "What do you mean, what you going to get?" He said, "Well," he said, "so-and-so State's going to give me this, and Ole Miss is going to give me this, and Georgia's going to give me this." He said, Coach Bryant leaned back and took a nice long drag off a cigarette and said, "Son, if you come to the University of Alabama, we're going to guarantee you an education. You're going to leave here with a degree. And if you're good enough, we're going to let you play a little football for us."
Wow.
When the money got involved in all this, that's where the crisis started. I believe it in my heart. I believe the paying them is just absolutely precarious, the directions that we can go. I didn't want Kiffin at LSU. I didn't want that to happen. But we are in some perilous times, and I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, Coach, you said it all. Anytime you can quote Coach Bryant on this show, you are going to win me over. Thanks for the call. Hope you enjoy tomorrow night. That's a special event that I know your family will remember forever. Johnny B is up next.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for taking my call. Bash is kind of worrying me. We've talked about it before. I've never seen anybody that smokes weed so mad all the time. He must be getting the wrong
Isn't it supposed to calm you down? I asked that like I don't know.
Well, I have heard, I don't think I've ever had any myself, but anyway, I've heard that it's supposed to calm you down. And then in the appetite part, we know he doesn't have one of them because he don't have any groceries. But he's got one thing that I saw in that picture a while ago. He's got a VCR. I guarantee you he's over there right now watching Barney videos and Ninja Turtles, eating up tater chips and smoking that bad weed that makes him so mad at everybody. Thanks for taking my call, Paul. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Julie is up next.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Julie.
So earlier you had on, and I don't know his last name, is it Blake Topmeyer?
Blake Topmeyer, correct. He works for USA Today.
Yeah. So he was talking about Lane Kiffin and was saying he understood why he left Tennessee because for his dream job, and he understood why he left Ole Miss for a better job, which I don't think it's a better job, but anyway, he did. So I think, and he doesn't know why he's done it this time. He says, I don't know what he's doing, but I think I know what he's doing. And it's not good. I think he is still, well, look, who are the players? They're Ole Miss players, right? I think he's still got this revenge mindset going on. It's irrational. I think he's trying to get into our players' heads because these are their friends.
You know, Julie, let me stop you one second. You are the first person to say that, and I think you might be the most correct. This isn't about his roster. It's about spitting on Ole Miss one more time.
Yep, and I don't think he can control himself. I think
that's been proven in the past.
Thinking. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, but I feel sorry for his team because they got to play next week, and those guys. I mean, I feel. Anyway, LSU's got quite the person coaching them. But anyway, I'm glad he's going on. But And in a way, I felt sorry for him until I figured this out. I was feeling sorry for him because they took his Twitter away. He says his son, this little story about his son telling him,
yeah, right.
He couldn't do it. But that's his agency. I mean, he's been tweeting 20 years. He's been tweeting either since 2006 or 2008. He's been tweeting, and they took that away. And think of it, Ole Miss, he had 100% reign, could do anything he wanted. Now he's going to all these meetings and, all this stuff he has to do over there. And then he complained in a press conference recently. He was just talking about trying to balance life and all that. And, there was no balancing at Ole Miss. Everybody was like, do what you want. We don't care. Just come back and have a good time. We didn't care. And so he's gone from one extreme to the other. And I don't know if it's conscience or what, but I think he's definitely dealing with anger deep down in there.
How interesting, Julie. Listen, thank you very, very much. I don't know, you may be a psychologist, but you just nailed it. I think we're up against the break. We're coming back. Final few minutes straight ahead.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
One of the most talked about new coaches in the SEC, and he will join us tomorrow, John Sumrall. Cannot wait for that. Gino is up next in South Dakota.
Hey, how's it going? I don't really want to know how you're doing, but I have some things I'd like to clear up, some things I heard from the past few weeks, if you don't mind.
No?
This is where you react back towards me.
Well, if I feel like it.
Hey, I heard, I think his name is Old Fool. I heard him talking about how he wanted to be really close and up front and personal with the guy from South Carolina. I don't understand why he would want to do that, like he wanted to kiss him or something. Did that sound rather strange to you?
No.
No? And yesterday's, it didn't, did it? You're used to that. Yesterday, the word of the day seemed to be supercilious. That damn AJ's a wordsmith, don't you think? Do you think he knew how to spell supercilious?
By the way, it's a difficult word to spell. I've spelled it before, but nowadays with spell check, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Well, I that's unfair. I think we should all have had to memorize the spelling of words from.
Some of us did, but
from grade school. How about
it's basically super and then cilious. It's not that difficult.
How about internecine? Because I got to admit, I've only called this show and been interested in this show to hear the feuding amongst you SEC teams. I don't really understand why you're so against Kiffin and LSU, but then I put it together with that he coached at Tennessee before leaving.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to say I wanted to say something about the those kids trying to come from the NFL. I mean, historically, isn't that what college football was all about? That moving back and forth back in the teens and 20s between the NFL and college. They've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So how is that wrong? How is that a bad thing if they've been doing it all along?
Really not sure about that, Gino, but thanks for trying. Vance is up next in Georgia. Hey, Vance.
Hey, Paul, God almighty, I'll call you tomorrow with my original point. Here's what I'm going to say. Gino, why don't you sniff my butt? I mean, you're just you are worse than anybody. You think you're so smart. Nobody gives a damn about 1910 or 20. God, that just blew my. What a smart ass. I'm sorry to end the show this way, but my God, Paul, did I really have to hear from that guy? Well, have a good evening, my friend. I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah, usually Gino has some point, but he had none tonight. Gary is up next in Wyoming. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Paul. I
I want to say something about Kiffin as far as, it's interesting that he brought up possibly bringing kids in and putting a cap on freshmen. I don't hear of any cap on coaches. And what I'd like to say, Paul, is I hope the narrative that you bring up more and more is about coaches and the amount of money that they are making. You can't blame the kids. I mean, to me, I don't think you can, because they've got a good point as far as if it's a team concept and we're all in this together. Even to go so far as to say there are coaches in the NFL that came back and are now coaching in college football. I'm just glad I got a chance to talk with you for a minute and say that.
Well, Gary, thank you for calling. Appreciate it. You be well. How about Davis, who is up next? Hello, Davis.
T/D fathers, the LSU Ole Miss game so mammoth that if we have a holy roller-like play, could the officials be too scared to overturn the winning touchdown?
I think so. Stumpy is up next in Georgia. Hey, Stumpy, go right ahead.
I'll make it quick. Paul, if your most talented players on your team aren't leaders, you're going to have a bad locker room. And I think coaches are going to run into that this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard enough to get chemistry when they've been there a while. How about when they're showing up today?
Yeah, I agree, Paul. And, I look back at Cignetti and, whether they agree with him or not, I think he has some talented players that he brought in that were great leaders, and that's why they won last year.
Well, and not only that, Stumpy, he was able, and I think that first year, which I think it was difficult to take them too seriously because they didn't play anyone, but they found some cohesion. He went out and got a better quarterback, and we saw the result. That's always great. But he has enormous talent on his team this year. It's a matter of whether he can string it together. We'll leave it there.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.